Today I really need to study Russian grammar. Have you ever felt like this? Don't feel guilty because many of my students do. Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel, the perfect place for language learners and lovers who want to be free to live anywhere they want. My name is Diletta, I'm a language coach, and today I want to talk about smart ways I use and I teach my students to improve their grammar. But first, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram. Learning grammar rules is hard at any level. It takes time to understand the rule first, especially if we're learning a very distant language. For example, I'm Italian and I'm currently studying Icelandic, which is very different from Italian. So whenever I try to study the grammar, it leaves me puzzled. But there's something even harder, knowing exactly how to use that rule. So what can we do? There are the grammar books devourers. People who love grammar, knowing exactly how the language works, doing exercises. And in that case, buying a grammar book and following it step by step is the perfect method. But there are also the grammar haters, people who get instantly bored in front of a grammar book. And then there are people like me. I love knowing exactly how the language works, but I don't like spending too much time on grammar books or memorizing stuff, and especially doing exercises. Let me know in the comment which one you are. The point is, whatever category you fall into, keep in mind there are always 4 principles that you should apply. First, understand how you learn best. Think about your past experience as a language learner and ask yourself 2 questions. First, when I studied that language, what was something that truly helped me understand the grammar and use the rules? Second, what was something I found extremely boring? If you don't get used to understanding how you feel about a certain activity, what you like instead of what you think you have to do, you'll probably keep not understanding and in the end quit. This is the reason why I nearly quit Icelandic last week. As a very analytical person, something I usually do from the very beginning is have a quick read of a book about that specific language, just to get an idea of how the pronunciation, the grammar works and so on. But I've never been good at memorizing, so spending too much time on grammar gets me easily bored. Things I don't put into practice. For some reasons, I noticed I was forcing myself to memorize grammar rules and I was starting to procrastinate. So I stopped for a moment and asked myself, do I like what I'm doing? And the answer was, hell no, I'm extremely bored. And then I asked myself, when I was a teenager and I studied Finnish, what was something that truly helped me? Reading articles and writing Finnish native speakers, even as a beginner. So basically, in order to understand grammar, I understood that I need to read authentic material and write someone. And when I notice that something catches my eye while I'm reading, or I need something very specific to express my thought, but I'm lacking the grammar, I instantly check the book or Google it. Needing a certain expression is what pushes me to study grammar and consequently to improve it. Now, whether you're like me or not, the second principle you cannot do without is learning in context. Many people wonder, is it possible to learn grammar by listening and reading? It's more than possible. It's actually what you should do. In language learning, we need a lot of so-called input, which is basically the language we're exposed to when we read or we listen to something. And when I say a lot of input, I mean it. A lot. And this applies especially to grammar. So, in order to understand how a grammar rule works, we need to see how it's used in a specific context. A real one, 1,000,000 times, through 1,000,000 examples, and all along our language journey. And sometimes a grammar book is not enough, simply because it can't provide so many examples. You need to be exposed on a daily basis to different inputs, be it reading or listening. But there's more. You need to become the detective of the language you're learning, which is the third principle you should apply. What do I mean by becoming a detective? Basically, notice things. When you read something or you listen to something, don't just do it passively. Underline grammar structures, contexts, patterns, and so on, especially if it's something you have already seen in a book. The more you try to notice things, create connections, the more your brain is going to retain that information. Becoming a detective is probably going to take a while, but trust me, it's totally worth it and helps you learn faster. Last but not least, if you want to be able to use grammar rules, you should actually use them. Some days ago, I was talking to one of my students about English conditionals, which are generally considered one of the hardest things of English grammar. In Italy, we usually study conditionals during high school, but for some reasons, I didn't study them. So I didn't even know they existed until I went to university. But the thing is, by that time, I already know how to use conditionals, even if I didn't know the rule, even if I didn't know them. How? Basically because up to that moment, I had chattered and spoken to so many people and sung so many songs. In a sense, speaking and singing helped me memorize the rule and use it correctly. So I didn't even need to learn it by heart or wonder whether it was correct or not during a conversation. And this is something you can do with basically any kind of resource. Let's say you like watching movies and today you watched 20 minutes of a movie that you like in the language you're learning. First, be a detective. Get back to it the same day or the day after. Download the scripts. Read them. Underline familiar grammar. Look at the context, the words that are used. Use the scripts as a source of examples that you can learn from. And second, use those same rules in a written or oral conversation. So that's all for today. I really hoped you enjoyed this video and it was useful to you. Let me know which type of grammar learner you are and how you usually work on your grammar. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram and check my other videos on language learning. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.